email. In principle, Chair, looking at what our current policies and laws are, we believe that this is in line, and it also gives us room to do our own priorities and to also learn from those that may go ahead of us in the use of the technology in various sectors of the industry. I submit, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ria, for your submission. I will now ask members of the committee to ask questions, points of clarification. Honorable members.
Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you so much, Ria. It's good to see both of you. I think you're three of you. Okay. Yeah, mine is this article where you are proposing that you would subscribe that the extension be made even to cooperative partners. So I stand to be corrected. In my mind, I'm thinking this is a country-to-country agreement, and you are also creating a buffer to say there should be disclosure, but you know how much we struggle with disclosure issues, be it in the mining sector. We have no capacity. Honestly, do you think this offer you are making is doable? You understand the context around disclosure. Even at the lowest level in Zambia, issues around disclosure, they are a problem. So until we expose ourselves to unnecessary problems when we are just starting this agenda, it's at its inception, why can government just be the one there so that it safeguards any possibilities of even investing in nuclear energy for any other reasons which might also pose a security threat to the country? Thank you, Chair.
You can respond.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, our thinking is that...
Chair, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. Honorable Mutinda, Member of Parliament for it days. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Our thinking, Chair, is that we are dealing with technology that can be used for both peaceful means and otherwise. And we also know that there are other agencies around that look at using this technology for means that are not peaceful. And so if we do not have a clause that brings disclosure for such agencies that are financing countries that we are part of, then we will not be in control of what the motives of every member is. Because then we are saying that within the same knowledge which we are capturing and developing our people, it's easy for others to go and develop things that may not be peaceful. So that's why we are saying that if you as a country are being sponsored by a cooperating partner, whether it's for peaceful motive or not, you must disclose that cooperating partner to the committee so that people are aware that this partner which deals with bombs based in this country is sponsoring this country. We feel that would be it's a better way of making sure that everybody aligns with regards to the motives, especially that the same technology can be used for peaceful means and for destructive means. Thank you.
Honorable members. Yes, Honorable Daka.
Thank you very much, witness. I'm Honorable Elias Daka, Member of Parliament from Sanzar. Well, Ria, we have other stakeholders who have submitted before us, and they have shown some concern that we are as a country, we are supposed to ratify this agreement, but they mentioned something to do with we should look at the cost benefit. One, and then the second one, they also said we should also look at our capacity as a nation. Yeah. Now, maybe your comment on the two. Thank you, Chair. I submit.
You can go ahead and respond.
Chair, the concerns are very genuine, except there are ways of making sure that you mitigate against this technology. The biggest challenge really is the disposal of the residue. And many countries, including South Africa, finished these policies way before 2010, but they've never really delved into how they will dispose the residue. But we also know that there are countries that have managed to do that. So the understanding, Chair, is that between now and 2050, in which case we are planning as a country to have the first nuclear, we should be able to have understood and discussed how the implementation of this technology will be. In terms of the benefits, the main benefit is that, like for our country, we understand we have uranium, I'm sure, but the main benefit is that the quantum of power that you generate from nuclear is much more than what these other technologies. For example, you can have a 10,000 megawatts plant from nuclear. It's very possible. So that's the main advantage. So when we plan as a country, obviously it will not just be for consumption within our country. The main benefit will be that we should be able to use our advantage, which we are centrally located, and you look at other countries that we can buy from us. So if we balance the benefits with regard and the risks, then we should be able to position ourselves. But like I said, the biggest question is the disposal. Where do you throw the remaining? Because it will still be active. Are we going to choose a place in Zambia which will sacrifice? Or how do you do it? That's probably where we need to learn from countries like Japan and China. Thank you.
Any more questions, honorable members?
For you to get there will be serious nuclear reactions, serious radiations. Now, in case of a disaster, maybe we have a serious accident where where you have disposed or the equipments that are in use. How ready are we as a country in terms of disaster mitigation response? Do we have equipment to respond to disasters as a nation?
You have a question, honorable
Yes.
member?
Witness, thank you very much for a good submission. I just wanted to find out, having learnt based on your submission, you're talking of the benefits. I just want you to help this committee, if you can be able to elaborate a little bit, in terms of the disadvantages of having nuclear energy. Thank you.
You can respond to those questions.
Chair, when you are designing nuclear, it's basically goes beyond 20 years for planning. You factor years, which so that's is obviously in terms of the area. In most cases, these are areas that are specified with regards to the anticipated irradiation that will be in that particular place. So it means that at the design stage, you must look at all the risks and factor in mitigation in terms of how you, including the design of the plant itself, which should be able to shield from any leakages from the radiation. So that's how it is. In terms of disadvantages, the disadvantages, like I said, one of them is the fact that the residue still remains active and disposal is not as easy, but it's not impossible. others have done it through the sea and many other places. That means that at planning stage, before we commission it, we must decide how are we going to dispose of this residue. And we must also make sure that the disposal is safe. So yes, the other disadvantages obviously is when you decommission one, it will still go on for 10 years. So you still have those operational costs as well. So I think it's comparing the advantages and the disadvantages and making sure that all the risks that can go wrong are catered for in the design. That's why you find that design alone will probably take 5 to 10 years. Construction will also take another 10 years, because it's not as simple as having a hydro system. So that in doing that, you cover all those risks and making sure that they bar any harmful effect that can come out of that. Thank you.
So are we ready as Zambia to implement nuclear energy programs in view of the risks that you have cited?
Chair, our thinking is that we should go by what has been prescribed in the IRP, that we'll probably be ready by 2050, but we must have a clear plan of what we are going to do between now and 2050, which also includes making sure that, first of all, Chair, I was privileged to interview one of our engineers who has been trained in nuclear, and I could see that currently we have not reached that level where they can begin to do serious research, because I could see that the way we have attached them, I think there are no specific projects for now. My recommendation would be that we have a clear plan, starting with those that we have already trained as engineers. How are we going to build capacity to a level where they can prioritize projects? It's not only energy, it's a wide range of things. They can prioritize which areas we probably must begin with. In terms of energy, like I said, we are projecting 2050, which means that are we going to wait for 2050, or is there any other project we can prioritize between now and then, maybe in agriculture or mining? So we believe that the policy that we have must be backed by an implementation plan with regards to how we are going to roll it out in all the sectors that are highlighted in the treaty. Thank you.
Honorable Miyutu, Honorable Tambo, then Honorable Pavyuma, in that order.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. From the best of your knowledge, the number of nuclear scientists that you have proper knowledge over this issue of nuclear systems, how many do you think we have in the country?
Honorable Mtinta.
Yeah, thank you so much. From the introduction, it's clear that AFRA is saying we might not be able to work in all the thematic areas. As a country, we have a choice to pick the thematic areas that are relevant to our national goals and developments. In the good enough, we've touched the legal framework. Currently, do we have pieces of legislation that are adequate enough once we sign this, or you feel we might need to make changes in some of the pieces of legislation?
Honorable Kalobo.
Thank you very much, Chair. The witness in responding to the disaster mitigation question, he has given a futuristic answer, which means like we are not handling any nuclear issue. That's what it means, because you are saying there will be design at that time, maybe 20 years, This committee is privy to the information of disposal of the medical equipment that are radioactive, that have got nuclear reaction in treating, for example, cancer and other diseases. So this committee was informed that we have a place in Kalubush, Copper Belt, where they dispose such equipment, and very shortly they will be removing obsolete equipment that are in the cancer hospital. They will be taking them to Kalubush. That's why I said, in case where others are still there and they are still taking, in case there is an eruption, are we ready? Do we have equipment? Because already we are handling such equipment. There's a disposal in Kalubush.
You can answer those questions.
Chair, in terms of numbers, I may not have the exact numbers, but I know, Chair, that there are engineers who are trained from Russia. They did go there for the first degree, and Zambia did propose that they go back there to be trained in nuclear science. And they went, that should have been between 2016 and 2022, I think. So there are quite a number that we are trained in that technology. I may not know exactly what, like I said, I have personally interviewed one who is basically a nuclear scientist, and for him he did both a degree and a master's in Russia, and is currently attached to Ministry of Education. So that's the person that I did talk to, and he was not in that class alone. There were others that were sent from Zambia. So within here we have, like I stated, I think we need to start using them to have some sort of nuclear studies and understanding of what is within, to contextualize it to us rather than asking them to teach physics, because nuclear itself is a different science. But to come and ask them to teach physics, I think we are not utilizing them to the full. In terms of policy and the current law, what we are saying is that if you read the current policy on nuclear, it basically just focused on the knowledge capturing and capacity development, which is understandable because we are basically on the beginning side of the technology. We needed to understand it and before we begin to design. So that is already a gap, because if we are going to go to the next phase, we begin to talk about designs and so on. It means that the policy itself must include that part of implementing the technology. But for a start, yes, the policy is there, but it focuses mostly on having knowledge in Zambia and capacity building among engineers and among others, and also opening it up to other areas. In terms of the different types of nuclear, yes, the one I talked about 2050 is for energy, but for use in other areas it will not take that long. I am fully aware that because I was part of the presentation that was done by the late Dr. Msiska, and I think in his outline he stated that the plan for Zambia was first to begin with 10 megawatts in Chongwe, which was a biomedical nuclear station. What that means to us is that it will use nuclear science, but it will focus on medical use. And that was the plan. I'm not sure now what the plan is, but the plan was that we start with biomedical use, then we move on to other areas. So I believe that we need to relook at the policy and continue from where it ended, which is basically on capacity building, and begin now to delve into the details of the implementations so that they are locked in the policy as well. So that's what our proposal would be, Chair.
Honorable Mewto, has your question been answered? Okay, we'll take the last set of questions. Honorable members, any more questions? None.
Let me ask the short one.
Okay.
It can't be none. Thank you, Chair. Now that your recommendation is to ratify, what are serious fears if we ratify this convention.
Maybe also let me add something, Chair.
Honorable member.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair, once more. I just wanted to find out, you've said that we had our scientists trained in Russia, and to some extent you indicated that probably they're just teaching physics in schools. How really are we keeping these scientists who went to train there? Because the more they stay dormant, the more they lose focus in what they were trained in. Thank you.
You can respond.
Chair, as an individual, I actually have the same concerns that you have raised. This is an engineer who came to be interviewed as an electrical engineer, because we were looking for an electrical engineer. And he even himself expressed that concern that I don't necessarily do what I was trained for. And in fact, that's what disadvantaged him actually, because he's basically a teacher teaching physics. So my concern is that these engineers that we've already trained, we must start from there, because they went there and spent quite a number of years there. So we must start from there. These are the people that we can use as experts. Even if we have a long term in terms of energy, we will still have to agree on which ones we can begin with. Like, for example, I gave an example of the presentation that was done at EIZ AGM by the late Dr. Msiska, the Biomedical Center. I'm not sure if we know what the status is. So that kind of information needs specialists in that area who then run with such kind of projects. To answer Honorable's question, in terms of direction, it's already set that we would want to go that route, not only for energy but for other uses, which is also enshrined in the policy. So the direction is set. I think it's just looking at what the gaps are and ensuring that those gaps are now covered, as well as our priority as a country. We must say, if we are not ready for energy, what are we ready for? Maybe we are ready for agriculture, we go in that direction. Maybe we are ready for biomedical, we go in that direction. If it's less risky, it even gives us a better chance to build our experience for the bigger projects. That's what we are recommending. Thank you.
Okay, follow-up question from Honorable Member.
Yes, thank you very much once more, Chair. Is there really any research in Zambia currently that is tilting towards nuclear energy? Because the way you are talking seems we are nowhere near, and we are ratifying this. You are recommending to ratify this treaty. Is there any research to that effect? Thank you.
Chair, like I said, I think when the nuclear, I'm not sure what it was called then, when it was formed, which was led by Dr. Msiska, it was informed by research. And from the interactions I had with him, you could see that there are some sort of plans and some sort of preliminary ideas that we have. But what I'm not sure, Chair, is how far that has gone, because that is where the expertise should have resided in that center which was constructed at the time. So I think that should be the first point, to find out how far that establishment went, because it was created and it was headed by Dr. Msiska and he had other engineers. So I would like to believe that there was some sort of preliminary research that was done and some sort of focus on how we are going to spell out the rollout of nuclear in Zambia. So I would recommend that should be the first point. And if it still exists, possibly to bring that head person who's heading that unit, so that maybe they can spell out in terms of the detailed research that has been done so far. Thank you. Dr. Msiska is late.
Thank you so much, Ria, for your submission. We've come to the end of our interaction. May I now take this opportunity to revoke the immunity that was conferred on you. Thank you. You are free to leave.
Thank you, Chair.
We have enough chairs this side. We are live on TV, so it would be good for us to. Otherwise, the chairs will look empty when we have people that have come. Honorable Mpundu, are you able to kindly... So, Honorable Mpundu, you can come and sit.